Oh, we're live. Good morning. Hello, and how are you on this Monday, midday morning? It is 11:03. I guess, man, I'm recording from my tablet, well, Zachary's tablet. But I would like to say I came live because I wanted to engage with my audience on this Monday, rainy, mid-morning, rainy, cloudy, dark, watery day. But yeah, I'm filming from my I said filming, recording, hosting, going live from my tablet. So I don't know how the sound effect is in the chat, but if you are listening, welcome. Thank you. I appreciate you. I hope everyone had a great weekend and a great start to your Monday morning. If you are listening and you're taking me along with you for your morning or day, I deeply and greatly appreciate it. So just sit back and relax and plug me in, tune in and listen, and you don't have to participate. You just, your presence alone, it will be felt, and I will just go off the top of my topic, and you just can listen. That's all you need to do. You don't have to, drop down in the comments if you're not permitted to, but if you do, I see you. I don't know if I could pin your comment from my tablet, but I'll try. So thank you, everyone, my beautiful listeners and supporters. I was online looking at some things, and I said, let me come live and discuss some topics because there are some things that I don't know, that's just came across my mind that I thought my audience would be uh, interested in. And one of the stories I came across, let me just wait a second. I don't want it to play in your ear, so I'm gonna turn it down, the volume down. And I was this story is because I do relationships. Oh, see, that's my speaker. Sorry, y'all. I should have unplugged my speaker. Let me unplug my speaker. Hold it right there. Don't move. Okay. I definitely have to get things in order for the just for the purpose of having a great background sound audio for my audience that choose to plug me in and allow me to just rant and rave in their ear. I would like them to at least have a pleasurable and delightful experience with me. So that will all come one day or another. But let's get started. So I didn't mean that for that to happen. I was watching a video, and I don't know if anyone heard, because this is a relationship channel and I talk about relationships. I share my outlook, my point of view, my insights, my perspective, my opinions. Everyone is welcome to share however they feel or whatever they feel they want to share with me, with us, with the listeners. But I had a topic for today. And in this topic, I just felt like it was something sad that I watched just a little while ago. I heard about the story and I didn't give it any attention for the simple fact, yeah, about these things, but this one just stuck out to me, and I wanted to at least get input or at least share my input about the state of relationships today. And in this particular story, it's about a woman, a 62-year-old woman, lady, it says titled, met and married a murderer in prison, and he ended up unaliving her, which is very, very, very sad, right? But this man that she married in prison, um, she was unalived on her conjugal visit with him. He turns out that she visited him on a conjugal visit because they are a married couple, and that's what they grant some inmates in jail. 62-year-old woman, she was 62, he was 54. But the plot is that he was serving like a life sentence, that he would never, ever, ever, ever come home. He didn't even have the possibility of parole or even a second thought of him coming home because he um, unalived and was convicted of unalive, and I think and executing for other people, for men. So it was no way he was coming home. That's like a death sentence right there for him. And due to her faith and the nature of her kindness, this is what the sad part to me is that, she met him, she knew his situation, she knew his background, she knew his history, she knew he was a criminal, she knew that he wasn't ever coming home anytime soon. She knew that he was, I'll just say it, a murderer. I'm not judging this woman due to the fact because the video that I saw, they shedded light on who she was as a person and her characteristics as a kind, loving, giving, forgiving person, woman of faith, woman that believed in um, God, her God, and she took that seriously. So I guess she met this man, this criminal, this monster. Hey Bronx and Chad, I seen that story too. That man had nothing to lose. He didn't. Hey, Deb McNeil, thank you. I could pin you right. Yeah, the sad part is about this story is that she had things going for herself. She didn't have to or even had to think about being with someone that's not in her, I guess her, I don't know, of her standards, right? She lowered her standards, so to speak, or she just thought that she was doing something great by giving this creep a second chance, by showing him that she care and that she think that he is a human being and I don't know. I'm not judging her because I've seen the video that they did about her, how she was a decent person, how she loved her community, how she just didn't judge people. So I won't judge her. But it's the sad thing is that she died at the hands of her own husband, a criminal, a known full-time. Let me see. I said, I don't know how many people he murdered or unalive. I'm not going to monetize this video because of the words I'm using. But the fact that she was killed at the hands of her husband is just sad. The fact that she thought by her showing someone some attention that did not need any attention at all because he was locked away and put away for good. Hey, Lasania, how are you? How you doing? Wait, let me see. I was plug Lasania back up there. I was watching the video. The part that drew me in about her, and I said, let me see what's this story about to go further. And I didn't judge. I just said, oh no, that's sad. Someone killed their wife. Oh, I didn't say it was sad at first, but when you watch the video, you see that it was sad. And you don't want to judge based on her suffering that she says she's going through, and based on how she experienced things, and based on her faith that she kept her faith, and how she questioned her God, and how she knew that she was suffering and there was no solution to her problems, right? So I don't know how she just came about mixing it up with a inmate, a criminal, a murderer, but it happened. I think the part that stood out to me the most is when she was crying, and because she made videos, everything she did, she tried to improve the community. She had children, 2 children. She has grandchildren also. So she had a family. She came from a loving family. She loved her family. Her children did not approve of what she was doing, but she had a mind of her own. And what's even sadder is that she thought she was going to get something at the end of the tunnel, a rainbow that's going to come about and reward her for giving this man her sympathy. And you see, I would have thought he in there for a good reason, so the heck with him, right? I would have thought he in there for a good reason, so the heck with him. And you know what's so crazy is, what's so sad is that he called for help because she passed out, but 4 months later, the coroner did an exam, and they did an autopsy, and it turned to find out that he strangled her while she was going to see him and visit him on a conjugal visit. And this wasn't something new about her going and visiting her husband in the facility. But it turned out that this was her last time that she would ever have visited him. And he's still alive. He has no remorse. He has no sympathy. He didn't have sympathy or remorse when he unalived and killed and murdered those other people, human beings. It's just that, us women today, we feel that, and I want to say us women because I'm not exempt from showing or even trying to at least show a tad bit of concern to another human being, but I just take it in a different direction. Right? I don't have sympathy for too many men that have anger and hostility and that believe that their dominance and their control is what makes them a man. No, I don't. I don't have sympathy for that type of man and that type of person, but I do have sympathy and empathy for humans overall. And we as women, we have fallen victim to a lot of men's deception, deceit. But this one right here just stood out the most. 62-year-old woman that had a small business, had a couple of dollars in the bank, that was given, understanding and forgiving. Like what Sania said, a lot of times women have warnings and they ignore them. They do. We do. Wait, I'm trying to pin the comment. Thank you, Lasagna, that we do ignore them. Hi, Lillian. How are you? Hi, Bronx and Zach. Nice to hear you are well. Yes, I am well and safe, and have a good Monday. Thank you, Lillian Perkins. Lillian Perkins and people that's in this chat have been with me forever. And since I started this channel, and it's a beautiful sight to see that when you are supported in just littlest ways, it really, really, really is appreciated, and it really matters. And I greatly appreciate everyone that's listening and giving me this opportunity. I feel like if I go live at night, I'll probably pick up a larger audience. But this right now are my practice lives. These are the ones that who's sitting here tuning in and listening and taking me along with them for the morning or day. This is what matters most. These are my practice lives until I just want to come out and just make a statement, a loud and clear statement. But a lot of times women, then I wanted to get back to Lasagna. A lot of times, thank you, Lillian. A lot of times women have warning signs and they ignore them. Yeah, we do. But it's a lot of things that a lot of women do ignore that, like, subtle. This was a major red flag. This was a major warning with this woman, this 62-year-old woman. A lot of people say, well, you know what? She should have used discernment. She should have used her better judgment. She didn't have to marry him. She shouldn't have married him. She should have known better. I agree. But when you watch the video and hear her crying, pouring out, talking about that she had prayed to God and that, God told her to pour her love into Jesus. And she said, I poured my love into Jesus. I poured my heart into Jesus. I give Jesus my love. I give Jesus my life. And there's no change. So based on her faith alone and based on her love for Jesus, what she thought she was doing for the sake of her God. I'm not saying that she didn't have any responsibility in her. Did they ever say how many visits she had before? Yeah, she did have a couple of visits. Thank you, Deb. She did have a couple of visits before this happened. They were saying that, the conjugal visits was about 30 to 40 hours for the conjugal visits, and that there were certain criteria and requirements for inmates to receive conjugal visits. Her family disapproved and told her that they didn't think it was a good idea, but she went against her family and she went against her judgment. And turns out that, she did ignore the warning signs, and it's really, really sad that she did. I'm not saying that she was using her faith as an excuse to do something so, let's just say it, dumb. I'm not judging her. The reason why I got so sad and I thought it was just a really sad situation is due to her faith that she put in God, in her God, due to her love for Jesus, due to her expectations of her coming to the rescue of another human being and showing another human being like I have sympathy and empathy for you, and thinking that she will be rewarded in the long run. She was crying like in the first part of the video, saying that she had been taken advantage of. People have taken advantage of her kindness, and they use that against her as a weakness, and she don't know what to do anymore. She did everything that was required of her to do as a woman of God and in the love of Jesus. And listen, everyone is not don't function the same. And the reason why I judge other women based on, yeah, okay, that was stupid, that was dumb, that was just crazy for you to do without you. And I don't judge them with intent of maliciousness, but I think like we as women, we do our hard on each other, and we don't support or encourage one another. But something like this, a 62-year-old woman that had a lot of things going on for herself, that could have met a man that made more money for her, that would be there and available for her, and just simply love her the way she wanted to be loved, and the need that she's missing and the desire that she needs or craves. Someone was definitely there, but she didn't give that person a chance. So she probably was just thought like, listen, I don't know why I can't meet the man of my dreams. Let me give someone that's in a lower position a chance. But I overall, we don't know what possessed her to love someone that's unlovable. Okay, where is her video? Okay, I'll give it to you right now. So just take this I think when you see this video, if anyone see this video, you'll probably just have a different take, although we are naturally judged. But when you see the video, it's called okay, here we go. It was one day ago, and it's called Twisted Crimes. Yeah, Twisted Crimes, and the title is Bored 62-year-old lady met and married a murderer in prison who ended up killing her during a conjugal visit. Okay, here go a description. Stephanie Brinson, a 62-year-old grandmother who was strangled and killed while having an overnight conjugal visit with her convicted murderer husband at a California prison. I just got sad. So the channel is called Twisted Crimes, and then you'll see the title Bored 62-year-old lady. But the way that the video shed it light on what's her name? I don't want to get her name messed up. I want to honor her and give her the respect that she deserved, because she seemed like a sweet loving lady, a sweet loving woman that didn't do things for people because she thought that, you know, it would be returned to her. So Stephanie Brinson, she was a hairdresser. I said a hairdresser. She owned a small business. She did hair, you know, she just seemed like a loving, you're welcome. She just seemed like a loving woman, 62-year-old woman. And that's why I say, and I'm not trying to use Stephanie as and as an excuse or an example, but she is an example of that. We as women, as we get older, I don't think women, I'm not going to say women become more desperate. I don't think, and if I had to say it, okay, she was desperate. I don't want to say she was desperate. Maybe she lacked certain things in certain areas that she thought would never be fulfilled. We as women, we sit back and we think about, are we ever going to be loved? Like, oh, my friend is married, well, I'm not married. I don't think about shit like that because I don't want to get married. I know the trouble ahead that may lie if I do get married, because I'm not like the type of woman or the wife to like fulfill or go above and beyond to fulfill her husband's or boyfriend's or partner's needs. Right? I don't overexert myself. I at least try to show you the characteristics and the gifts, not gifts, but the small sentiments that I can at least share with you. That I don't have to go above and beyond to please my husband, because the most women today don't realize that you don't and you shouldn't have to please your husband to make him happy, or you shouldn't have to please your partner to make him happy. Because if the saying is true, accept a person how they are. Good morning. Wait, happy girl. Thank you, happy girl. That's true, happy girl. Good morning, Bronx. Oh, someone posted that on Facebook. I feel like women are getting desperate and they are settled. They are. Thank you. I didn't. It's not that I didn't want to say it because I'm not gonna lie. I don't. I cry about like children being unalived or murdered at the hands of a mother's boyfriend. I cry about children being unalive about at the hands of a mother or a father, right? So I cry for children. I weep for children and I mourn for children. I have cried for women that have were unalived and killed at the hands of their husband or boyfriends, right? And I'm keeping it on a boyfriend, husband, partner, unalive and murdering their partner, because that's common and that's common, right? So if you are, it shows, it proves the point whether she married him in jail or not, she was unalive, which, like Lasagna said, and everyone is saying in the chat, that she's desperate and settled, and the warning signs she ignored, she did, right? So I guess I got sad and a little bit, um, showed a little bit more sympathy towards her because 62-year-old woman, still young, vibrant, have a lot of life in her. I read that a woman becomes more confident and pleased with herself and accepted herself in her 60s. That's why I said that I probably won't get married until I'm 60, if that is a idea I want to consider. But yes, she did, and women do are now more than ever. And I'm glad you said it, happy girl, that we are settling and we are becoming desperate. I'm not saying the beautiful woman in my chat are becoming desperate and settling, but now more than ever, women are settling and becoming more desperate because they are lacking something and they want something to be fulfilled. And they are just not considering the options that there could be a reason why that we are single and we choose to be single, because we don't want to settle, we don't want to seem desperate. And I guess I take a little bit tug at my heartstrings with Stephanie, that she was a 62-year-old woman, a grandmother, a mother, helped out her community, gave back to her community, uplifted her community, helped when she could help, had a nice, decent heart. Kindness was in her nature. But then again, she was lacking something. She felt lonely. She felt alone. Even with all the riches around her and the family around her, she still decided that there was something that was missing. And then she had to turn to this sick, twisted monster, filthy animal that a lot of us women in the chat would never, ever consider. These are we as the women in this chat probably would all come together and make sure that he wouldn't hurt no one else again. Wait, oh, thank you, happy girl. I'm forever crying for children. Yes, me too. I don't know why. It's just sad. I am too, happy girl. We share the same sentiments. But when I saw this story, I was angry. Me too. She was a typical woman that thought she was different. She thought he wasn't going to do it to her. Mm, you know what? If you go and watch I don't know if you've seen the story, but this one, the Twisted Crimes, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't gonna watch it because I was like, oh man, like I don't know why I don't. I'll watch a story about a child being unalived or being hurt or being like before I watch, and it's sad, but I'm opening up because I hear things, but I do get sad and passionate about women that and some men too that are, you know, unalive or murdered by their partner, but mostly women. I have a soft spot for women. I do. Like, I mean, you definitely would have to know me deeply for me to show that side of me. But um if you watch the video Twisted Crimes, and you see they did a whole video on her, it's an 18-minute video, so they highlighted every like little moment of her life, and you've seen her talking, you've seen her videos, you've seen her like just doing different things, activities, and taking uh parts in her community. Yeah, you would think that a 62-year-old woman that has a decent life, that had the opportunity to meet at least a man in his 60s that's not a criminal, that never had a criminal record. Um, if she's from California, California is a big state. It's a large state. So it's like, I don't think, okay, when you say she's different, what do you mean? I don't want to I don't want to fill in the blanks for you, happy girl, but that sheds light on the situation. I'm not going to answer for you. So when you say she thought she was going to, if he wasn't going to do it to her, thought she was different. But if you watch the video, she cried and poured her heart out, and she was saying how um a lot of people take advantage of her. I think it really made me sad and mad that she was like solely dependent on her love for Jesus for her to at least come out the suffering that she was enduring. Because she did state, and she did say that she was suffering. She did state that. And she said she poured out her heart to God, and she poured out her heart to Jesus, and God spoke to her and said to her, you need to put all your love into Jesus before, you see any change. That was what really made me really, really sad, right? About her pouring her heart out to Jesus. She depended on the love of Jesus and the love of God to move her in the right direction. And it's really, because I love women in their 60s, and I'm not even talking about on a different, I'm not talking about on a sexual level, I'm not talking about on a romantic level. I love women in their 60s, how confident they are and how they live their life. So a woman in her 60s that have a great job, a decent job, and she have the means to move how she want to move, and she give back to the community, and she it's not, she wasn't, because if you watch the video, she wasn't stuck up. She was just a woman that enjoyed looking nice, doing things, loving her family. But it's like, okay, yeah, the question comes into play is like, why was she turned to this criminal? He wasn't, I mean, he had a cute body, a nice body. Of course, he has a nice body. He's locked up. Most men that's in prison have a nice body. They do. That's all they do is work out. I don't know what he said to her, how he manipulated her, how he enticed her. But if I was a fly on the wall, I would definitely use his words to use against men in tactics. I do that now. Like if I meet a guy and he is full of shit, I use his tactics that he used on me or try to use on me or try to get away. I use it on other men. And then they call me masculine. I'm like, I just learned this from another guy. The fuck? Let me see. I'm saying, okay, wait. I'm saying, you know how women will know. Yes. Well, no, yes, no, a man is abusive. I agree. 100%. Yes. I'm glad you said that, but they still will date them because they feel that they are special. Oh, yeah, you're right about that. And you know what, happy girl, I'm glad you said that, because I see a lot of shit on Facebook where memes and posts where women say, oh, she all happy with him now, but she, like, I want, like you said, clarify your statements. You are absolutely 100% right, because I see it on Facebook where women say, oh, well, those two idiots are laughing with one another, or the woman that don't know that the man is abusive, but the other woman that used to be with him was no, he was abusive, saying that she don't know what he's in for. She don't know what she's in for, because he is abusive. He is not who she say he is. But you know what? To confirm your statement, like, it starts off as, and I'm not making excuses. I'm not going to make an excuse for Stephanie no more, that she married a convict that was murdered 4 people, execution style. I'm not going to make an excuse for her. She should have known better in that aspect. Right, but there are women that feel like, oh, okay, well, it happened to her, but it won't happen to me, and that is true. That is definitely true with women, that they were like, oh, well, just because oh yeah, and then they have women that say, well, I don't want to know about his past. I'm with him now, so whatever happened to his past is his past. And then come a woman, a man alive, and his woman, his girlfriend, his partner, his romantic partner, his love interest, and then this woman say, well, you know what, I don't want to know about his past. Every time I see a man or hear about a man on the news murdering or unaliving his significant other, I share it and say, oh, so y'all don't want to know about your man past. This is the type of men that you overlook. So you are definitely right, happy girl. I agree with you 100% because they show proof all the time on the internet, on social media, thinking that it wouldn't happen to them because they feel that, oh, every man is different with each woman, which is not true. Every man has a pattern of abuse, and they sit there, they gaslight, they love bomb, they manipulate, they entice, they pour on a charm so the woman wouldn't or even pick up the pattern. So, and that's the thing. Like, I feel like with women, I don't know. I had an incident with Zachary's father when I was talking to uh because he has a son, and his first son, his first child is older. Me and his son's mother got into it because she thought, because Zachary's father probably was a little bit and I'm not going to say he's weak, because he's not weak. He's a strong man. He's a decent guy. He's not like an abusive guy, but maybe he could be easily manipulated into doing things that, women would entice him to do. And I'm not saying that's nothing bad, but so another woman putting a bug in another man's ear, he going to take heed to that. So we was on the phone talking and everything, and I was telling her how I am with him and my son, and with his father, with Zachary's father. I'm the primary provider for Zachary. I make the decisions, right? Because if I'm the head of household and the primary provider for my child, or any woman that's the primary provider or the sole provider or the head of household, she makes the decisions and choices. So I guess she wanted to question me because, Zachary's father, he's not like a gossiper. He listened to both sides, and maybe she said something to him that rang bells or just made sense of things. And I had to let her know, and I had to let her know what he told me. I was like, listen, we on the phone. I am the primary provider for Zachary. I make the primary choices and decisions. Of course, he has a say-so in it, but if we don't agree, then I'm just going to go ahead and just, go ahead and do what I have to do for my child. She says to me, well, he is the father, so you mean to tell me that he don't have a choice and a decision on what his son do? I'm like, no, he do have a choice, and he can make a decision. He's just not the primary provider of this child. We don't share expenses. We're not married. We don't share income. We don't split household expenses. So no, he cannot say too much. I could see we was married, living together. We wasn't living together at the time, but she got on the phone because I had to let her know, listen, I don't know how things run with you. You try to walk all over him. Like, I don't try to walk all over him. I try to at least get him to see things from a different point of view. She went on to tell me, oh, you think that you was the only one that he slept with? I'm like, oh, what does that have to do with anything if he was sleeping with the whole community or the whole crew? That has nothing to do with me. I don't care about shit like that. Right? Whether I knew it or not, what does that have to do with this conversation that we're having? So she threw me off a little bit with that, because I looked at him, I'm like, oh, you sleeping with the whole neighborhood? He's like, no. He was like, no. I'm like, you okay? I was like, I didn't even know this about you. I thought you was a shy guy. You present yourself as a shy guy. Even if he did sleep with the whole neighborhood, so what? I'm not going to go around asking every woman, oh, well, did you sleep with him? No, I'm not going to do that. But her point was, I guess she was trying to throw a monkey wrench in the situation. I guess she thought that I was going to come down on him hard, because he's not an abusive person. He's not. He have his share of ways. Like, you be like, okay, you know what? I'm bugging out. But to be frightened or scared of him, no. But that was her main point of contention, was to tell me that, oh, he slept with the whole neighborhood. And I'm like, I didn't even know this, I did. That was shock to me. I didn't even try to follow up on her telling me that Zachary's father should be a part of, make more decisions. I guess what women fail to realize, if you felt you taking advantage or taking the lead or controlling a man, and that he find another woman that that don't want to control him, that is his friend, that want to be in a real relationship. Maybe there was a little jealousy there. But she didn't tell me anything like, oh, you need to watch out for him, he's abusive, or she just said something stupid like, oh, he was sleeping with the whole neighborhood. That was okay for me. But with other women saying, well, you know what, I was with a guy, he was abusive, but now stupid is with calling the other woman stupid. Oh, the other woman is with him, so she'll see. Like, I would be the type of woman, if I had to and I needed to, and I had to have a conversation with the woman to at least warn her, give her warning, and tell her the steps to take, or the behavior to look out for, so she can at least be warned and make a decision for herself, that she don't have to be caught up in that. And women do have that type of attitude, like, oh, well, just because he did it to her, that don't mean he's going to do it to me. Or just because they're together, right? That don't mean that I have to be a part of that. Or because I think when women, I heard someone say that. Right. Oh, he did. Oh my goodness. I heard someone say that she always wanted to see the good in people, but what's the good about me? It's nothing good about it. It's nothing good at all. And I think I just was a little bit sad in her situation when I just started hearing her pouring out her heart, and she had to sink so low just to prove that she loved other human beings. I'm pretty sure her family and friends told her, listen, ill, he's disgusting, he's a creep, he's a filthy animal. Find better, do better. You deserve better. I don't know what she thought she was going to accomplish by thinking that he changed. Granted, she went up there. She went to see him a couple of times during the conjugal visit, but it doesn't matter what made him snap. He snapped, and he snapped on her. And this doesn't this incident doesn't stop me from respecting and admiring women in their 60s. It just highlights and give me the more, I don't know. I guess it was just me being thrown off by Little Happy Girl said that some women don't think it can happen to them, or what he did to her, he's not going to do it to me. And it's sad. And it should be a little bit thought about and considered, that it just because, oh, he didn't do anything like right then and there, that don't mean he won't do anything. And this man that unalived her while she was visiting her on a conjugal visit, and then he lied and said that she passed out. Come 4 months later, she was strangled and murdered, which is very sad. This reconfirmed that women do sink low, and the bar is set for women. And yes, Stephanie should have had better judgment and used better judgment. And the reason why I'm not going to judge her is because based on her video, that she said that she was suffering and that she poured her heart into loving God and Jesus, and God spoke to her and told her that things will get better, and she felt like the need to lower and be a desperate woman that overlooked the warning signs, which was there, obviously there. She didn't need anybody to coach her or try to talk her out of this. That's something that, as a 62-year-old woman that had a nice, decent business going on and try to do the good for people, I would definitely, that's where your dark side come in, like, oh no, he's a creep. I can't. I would never, ever consider. And we have all dealt with men, or probably dealt with people in general, that were like shitty. Her kids was just, I guess, and then did she leave behind a legacy where she died really, really young. 62 is older, so I don't know if it's senior citizen yet, but yeah, senior citizen. I don't know if you could become a senior citizen at the age of 62 or 64, but she was a senior. She was an older woman. And the fact that she died at 62 years old at the hands of a criminal, a convict, a murderer, and married him. Ugh, and he's 54 years old. So I just wanted to share that story about us women needing to let men know and standing firm in their convictions that women don't need men. And this is a perfect example of a woman not needing a man. Ever. Not to go that far, not to sink that low, not to prove a point, not to be loved, not to be fulfilled, not to be fulfill a craving or desire. Happy Girl says she thought she was so safe, excuse me, because he was in prison. That's true. Right. I didn't think about it like that. I didn't. I know God didn't lead her in the direction. People always want to say it's God speaking to them when they want to do what they want to do. That's a good point. That is a great point. I value that point where you said she thought she was safe because he was in prison. She did. She had to. She did. Because she didn't have no no regards, I guess, for her life. But I agree. I guess where I'm saying with the God, and I'll leave it like this and I'll conclude like this, is when people of faith use their religion as a guide to guide them in a certain direction, or using religion or their faith as a guide to put them in a certain direction. I'm not going to say it's an excuse, right? Because I listen to women cry out, pour out, like, God, please send me someone, God, please. And God, their God will send them a man, and this man would turn out to be like not something that they thought they was getting or prayed for. And it just reconfirmed my thoughts that religion and faith lead. And I know that Happy Girl said, and I'm not disagree. I'm not going to disagree with you because I respect your opinion and I value it. That there are a lot of women that have strong faith in God and strong faith in their religion, and that look to God for guidance, and they end up on the wrong side of the stick. I don't know what is a stick. They end up on the wrong side of things. But if y'all go just look at the video of her pouring her heart out, saying how she's been suffering, people been taking advantage of her. She's been talking, she's been praying to God. I'm not going to even judge her when she said that God spoke to her, because she's not the only one that say this. All I'm saying is, like, religion, your faith, religion is good for some people. Religion is good in the aspects of community support, but when it comes to thinking for yourself, that's when the problem like come into play. Ask yourselves, this beautiful women that have strong faith in God, and I'm not saying Happy Girl don't. I'm not saying no one in this chat don't. I'm not saying that they are and they are have the sense and better judgment and wisdom to make better decisions. But why is it that Stephanie, that was killed and murdered by a convict, which should have never happened, she should have never been in his company in the first place? I don't give how much she prayed and talked, but this is just a result of it. She said, I agree, Bronx. Thank you. But this is just a result of it. So I agree with you too, Happy Girl. You put a lot of things in perspective, and I agree. And going forward, when I talk about religion and faith, I definitely will have that in the back of my mind, and I definitely will keep your comments and your perspective like in the forefront. Like, I'm learning how to at least see things in a different light. But you're right. she should have had a better judgment. I guess I was a little bit more, it tugged on my heartstrings because how she was pouring her heart out, saying that she's suffering. And at the same time, she was crying that she was suffering. She still was giving herself to other people and like making her presence known and just being a decent human being, giving back, loving people for who they are. But she loved the wrong person. She didn't have to love him at all. At all. He didn't deserve her love. Some man out there that was waiting for her, or probably was waiting for them to make a connection or make pass by each other. Another man in his 60s that's not in jail, that have never been to jail, that has a good job, that's waiting for a 62-year-old woman that want to be loved and want to be loved correctly, so to speak, was out there. She chose not to like look for that guy because she got a little bit lazy in her search and distracted. So I guess like with this moving forward, as far as me, the story is gonna be in the back of my mind. I'm not gonna forget her name, Stephanie Brinson, 62 years old. But it just gives me a little bit of material for my relationship channel and how we women, like Happy Girl said, and Lasagna said, that we do take a hit. Exactly. And we thank you, Happy Girl, that we do take a hit and we do lower our standards and we do things that we could at least did differently. So I would like to say to Happy Girl, I appreciate your comments. You shedding light on the situation. Your insight and perspective is definitely valued here, and it's going to be definitely considered. And I'm definitely going to take into consideration that, yeah, we as women do things and we don't need to be that dumb to do things. So I would like to say to my beautiful, beautiful, beautiful audience, thank you. Let me just put this. Thank you for listening to my insight and my perspective. And we'll see each other soon. I'll be back Wednesday with my series, Men Are Not Okay. And we're going to follow up with this sicko. And then we'll just lead into the discussion of men not being okay. So thank you, everyone. Have a safe and beautiful Monday for listening to my insight and my perspective. Have a great day. Thank you, Happy Girl.